take a look at the preview of our practitioner training. This is the 1 week that I was talking about.
Okay.
It's the full practitioner training. Today was just to start hearing new things, get you tuned to some of the concepts, throw out the broad overview. You come back, we'll do the intensive. We'll work on a lot of these things that we've already talked about in a lot more detail, actually use them, develop some skills that go along with the concepts, minor details.
When are we doing this?
May.
Sorry.
We'll work on sensory acuity.
If you have a brain.
We'll be able to see more. We'll be able to hear more. You might actually even feel differences that we didn't notice before. We'll talk a little bit about tonality. The very brief overview version is we basically have 3 tonalities that we use in general. There's command tonality, down at the end. There's statement, which is flat tonality. And there's question, which goes up at the end. So, we have 3 basic tonalities. I can talk from my nose, I can talk from my mouth, I can talk from my throat, or I can talk from down, deeper into my chest and diaphragm. Pacing and leading, which is building rapport and then heading off somewhere where you want to lead them onto. This is the whole reason for rapport in the first place in NLP. Rapport is nice when you're social. NLP, we're going to use it for pacing and leading. Meet them where they are, take them by the hand, gently guide them somewhere else. One of the methods for doing that is matching and mirroring. We'll talk more about that. We'll look at elicitation. How do we find out the current state? How do we find out what they want as their eventual states? States being internal, external, emotional, representation. People have resourceful states. Confidence, creativity, things along that lines. Love, good nominalization. We can elicit strategies. Hey, how do you do that thing that you do? So we can look at the sequence of what representational systems they're working in. We'll take a look at some of the other aspects that go on here. We look at what beliefs people have and actually eliciting some of them and finding out what's going on, what's the process behind the belief. We can look at how we can change some of these things. The big 3 for my instructors were submodalities. We talked about visual, auditory, kinesthetic. Each of those has aspects to it. Size, distance, color, black and white, tone. These are the submodalities. These are what typically drive most of the states that we're in, most of the strategies, most of the beliefs. Anchoring, does the name Pavlov ring a bell? This is where we tie one auditory, visual, kinesthetic event to hopefully a resourceful state. And advanced language patterns, we talked about several of them in brief overview, metaphors, metamodel, Milton model. Sleight of mouth patterns, which are ways of sidestepping the content and working around, whether it's reframing, whether we're looking at chunking different sizes. We have different possibilities with some of the sleight of mouth patterns. We'll look a lot more depth at what's involved with the metaprograms. How can we make use of them? How can we shift them? We can look at timelines. Do you realize that everyone organizes their events in the past, present, future, spatially? We can elicit your timeline. Most people, for you guys, past is over here, present somewhere here, the future is off that direction. For Western culture, mostly because of, hey, we saw timelines in that textbook that went left to right. Left's the past, right's the future. Japanese have their timelines almost exclusively oriented vertically. The past is down, the future is up. We'll look at some of the fun things that we can do with timelines. Making circles, figure eights, all sorts of fun stuff. And we'll look at a lot of the classic techniques that are what people assume NLP is. We'll look at some of the fast phobia fix, we've got swish patterns, we've got all sorts of fun techniques that we can apply using all of the fun bits and pieces we've collected. So modalities, anchoring, all of our language patterns, all these things go into play to making these techniques work well.